Welcome to Wakanda,
the protector of Wakanda,
but not the one you've seen through T'Challa's eyes. Today, we step into the shoes of Eric Stevens, better known as Killmonger, a man shaped by pain, brilliance, and an unyielding sense of justice.
This is for my father.
What if you were born a prince, but raised in a war zone? Would you fight to change the world? Or would you burn it down? Killmonger isn't just a villain, he's a tragedy. Eric Killmonger Stevens was born in Jataka, a Wakandan prince by blood. His father, Njobu, was the younger brother of King T'Chaka, making Eric part of Wakanda's royal family. However, his life took a tragic turn when betrayal struck his family. Njobu, stationed in Oakland, California as a Wakandan spy, grew frustrated with Wakanda's isolationism. He believed Wakanda's resources could be used to help oppressed black communities all over the world. His radical ideas led him to conspire against Wakanda, which ultimately resulted in his death at the hands of his own brother, King T'Chaka. Left fatherless and abandoned in Oakland, young Eric was forced to grow up in the harsh realities of systemic oppression.
Or did they take it like they took everything else?
Ask you to leave.
He witnessed the struggles of black communities firsthand. Poverty, police brutality, and the weight of being overlooked by a world that just didn't care. And unlike T'Challa, Eric didn't have a kingdom to protect him. All he had was his anger and his brilliance. These experiences shaped his worldview and ignited his desire for justice and vengeance. Though Eric was raised far from Wakanda, his heritage remained a part of him. He carried the pain of being disconnected from his homeland and the rage of being denied his birthright. This duality of Wakandan blood and American struggle forced a man who would one day challenge the throne. Killmonger was no ordinary man, a graduate of MIT, a Navy SEAL, and a man with a body literally marked by his victories, each scar a testament to a life saved on the battlefield. But behind every scar was a deeper wound. He was the ultimate strategist, a man who understood not just war, but the systems that create it. He didn't just want to rule Wakanda, he wanted to use its power to liberate the oppressed across the entire globe. As he said in one of his most iconic lines, "The world's gonna start over, and this time we're on top."
The world's gonna start over, and this time we're on top.
The sun will never set on the Wakandan Empire. But was it ambition or pain that drove him? You think I'm a villain, don't you? A man who walked into Wakanda with nothing but rage in his heart. But let me ask you this. How long should Wakanda sit on its throne of vibranium, untouched by the world's pain? For centuries, my ancestors watched from their hidden kingdom, while the rest of us fought battles they didn't care to win. I've seen the world outside these borders. I've seen black people struggle, chained by systems built to keep them down. Meanwhile, Wakanda sat silent, hoarding the power to change everything. Vibranium could have been our weapon, our shield. It could have freed the oppressed, armed the weak, and brought justice to those who suffered for too long. But instead, it stayed locked away, hidden from the very people who needed it the most. My goal? It's simple. Take what Wakanda has hidden for too long and use it to flip the script. Arm the oppressed. Destroy the oppressors. Build a world where no one like me has to grow up fatherless in the streets, wondering why the rich and powerful stay silent. Amazing speech. Anyone who hears you would think you are noble at heart, but the truth is, you might as well be as bad as Thanos. You want to compare me to Thanos? Fine, let's talk about it. Thanos had his grand cosmic plan. Snap half of the universe out of existence to balance resources. He saw people as numbers on a ledger, problems to solve with the flick of a gauntlet. Cold, calculated, detached. Me? I'm nothing like that. My fight isn't about abstract equations or galaxies that I've never seen. My mission is personal. I've lived the pain. I've seen my people suffer. I've walked through neighborhoods where dreams are buried before they're even born. While Thanos played God across the stars, I've been down here in the dirt, fighting for survival. Sure, people call me a villain. They see the bodies, the battles, the blood. But look closer. My fight was never about me. It was about every brother and sister still shackled by oppression. Thanos? He didn't care who lived or died. His plan wasn't personal. Mine was. So, am I justifiable? Maybe not. I know my methods scared people. But here's the thing. You can make change without breaking a few chains. Thanos snapped his fingers and erased lives. I fought to give life meaning, to give the oppressed a chance to rise. So, you tell me, who's the real villain here? You might call it vengeance. I call it justice. So tell me, am I really the villain here? Or am I just the only one willing to do what Wakanda never had the courage to? Well, you're a villain. The movie showed your villainy. You lost, you died, T'Challa won. You think I lost? Nah. I might not have walked away from the fight, but I changed Wakanda forever. T'Challa? He was just a king playing by his father's rules when I showed up, keeping Wakanda hidden, protecting vibranium like it was their little secret, while other people suffered outside their walls. I made him see the truth. When I came for the throne, I didn't just challenge him. I challenged everything he believed in. I forced him to look at the world outside of his bubble. There's about 2 billion people all over the world who look like us, but their lives are a lot harder. Wakanda could liberate them all. He had to feel it. Yeah, he beat me in the end. But look at what he did after. He opened Wakanda to the world. He set up outreach programs in Oakland, where I grew up. He stood in front of the United Nations and told them, we will no longer watch from the shadows. That wasn't just his decision. That was me shaking Wakanda to its core. The conflict between Killmonger and T'Challa in Black Panther is a powerful clash of visions for Wakanda's future. Both men recognize the potential of Wakanda's resources, but their approaches to using that power are fundamentally different. Killmonger envisions Wakanda as a force for global revolution. Having grown up in the systemic oppression of America, he believes Wakanda's advanced technology and vibranium should be used to empower oppressed people worldwide. His plan is to arm the marginalized, enabling them to overthrow their oppressors and reshape global power dynamics. Killmonger's vision is radical and aggressive, rooted in his personal pain and desire for justice. As he said, the world's gonna start over, and this time we're on top. T'Challa, on the other hand, begins the story with a more traditional perspective, upholding Wakanda's isolationism to protect its people and resources. However, his encounter with Killmonger forces him to reevaluate this stance. By the end, T'Challa adopts a vision of collaboration and unity, choosing to share Wakanda's knowledge and resources with the world to inspire progress and mutual understanding. His speech at the United Nations reflects this shift. We will work to be an example of how we, as brothers and sisters on this earth, should treat each other. The key difference lies in their methods. Killmonger's approach is driven by rage and retribution, seeking to impose change through violence and domination. T'Challa's vision emphasizes peaceful cooperation and setting an example for others to follow. Both visions address real issues, oppression and inequality, but their opposing different approaches highlight the complexity of leadership and the moral dilemmas of wielding power. In the end, T'Challa's evolution reflects a middle ground, acknowledging the need for change while rejecting the cycle of violence Killmonger embodies. Killmonger's vision was undeniably noble. He wanted to end the oppression of marginalized communities and use Wakanda's power to bring justice to the world. His frustration was for sure valid. Could Wakanda have acted sooner? Absolutely. Their silence allowed suffering to continue unchecked for centuries. However, Killmonger's methods were his downfall. He sought to achieve his goals through violence and domination, mirroring the very systems of oppression he aimed to dismantle. This is where he parallels Thanos. Both men identified real problems. Thanos saw resource scarcity. Killmonger saw systemic injustice. Yet their radical methods, violence on a massive scale, corrupted their visions. Wakanda's eventual decision to open its borders and share its resources proves that Killmonger's message was heard. T'Challa learned from him, realizing that Wakanda could no longer stand by while so many others were suffering. In the end, Killmonger's story is one of brilliance and tragedy. He challenged Wakanda to confront its responsibilities, even as he paid the ultimate price. His final words, spoken with the weight of generations, haunt us to this day. Bury me in the ocean with my ancestors who jumped from ships.
Just bury me in the ocean with my ancestors that jumped from the ships.
Because they knew death was better than bondage. How do you see Killmonger? A revolutionary, a tragic figure, or something else entirely? Let us know in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and join us next time as we dive into different perspectives.